Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Thursday, October 30th, 2008. This morning I thought I'd go through a concrete example of using the POP3 mail client to get mail and do something interesting with it. And the thing that I do with it is get stuff from a specific mailbox here at Cincom and post specific emails to an internal blog server. And the reason we do that is that there are weekly reports that some people in the company send that have what they've been working on the last week, and it's useful to have an archive of those reports in a blog server type form so that they can be searched on a regular basis. So how does that all work? Well, I've got a settings file that specifies, and you'll notice I've got a bunch of bogus stuff in here because I don't really want junk mail showing up in this mailbox. Some mailbox to check, the username and password, the blog it should show up on, and then the server that it should check. And again, none of these values are real, so don't go trying to send email to it. But in any case, with the real values, I have the scanner here. And what it does is when it starts up, it eventually goes out and sends this message to get the mail messages. So it gets the settings from that file, it checks the messages, and then it updates the blog with the messages. Now to check the messages, it goes through a simple process. Gets a POP3 connection, gets the mail messages with that, deletes the messages using the POP3 IDs, and then scans the messages I got for a specific text marker, and that was the word status in this case. Then it closes the POP3 connection, which will have the effect of deleting all the messages I've marked for deletion. And then it returns the messages so that they can then be posted to the blog server. Now I'm going to put a halt here because I'm not really running a real blog server here. So I want to just do that. So now I can go in and take a look at the POP3 stuff. So let's take a look at how I actually do that. I get the POP3 connection, and you've seen this method before in code that I've written to demonstrate this. So I go out and set up a network user with username and password, get my POP3 client and connect it, and then I just log in. And then to get the mail messages with that, we just go through here. Now we have to get the number of each message, and then we can retrieve it by that ID number, and then we can retrieve the actual message itself. So we can both retrieve the ID and the message, and the ID is useful for being able to delete it. And what I do here is I create an association of IDs and messages so that I can go through and delete them later. And then to get the mail messages themselves from them, I just go through and I have some things here that are funky based on the kind of mail server we have in the background. Sometimes I get strings for the mail connection, sometimes I get mail messages, so I have to do some messy things. But what I do is I create a mail message object from the string text, and then with that I can then do things like ask for the subject, which allows me to then scan the subject, and so on and so forth. So let's see how that all works. I'm going to run this code here. I've got two mail messages that I've queued up, one with the search term in it and one without. So let's go ahead and run this and see how it works. So we'll highlight this, we'll do it, and it should drop out on that breakpoint because I don't actually want to put these in my local blog server since it's not actually initialized and set up. And here you can see I've got my breakpoint. Let's make this fit inside the window. And if I take a look at this, I've got my post objects, and I'll select in, and you see I've only got one, even though I sent two messages. And that's because the messages I sent, only one of them actually matched. So I've got the word status in this, and there it matched. Had I put the halt in earlier, I could have actually shown you that I got two messages, of which I filtered one out, but you'll just have to take my word for it. But in any case, you can see here, I've gotten the messages. I can now post them to my server, assuming I wanted to go through this piece of code, and assuming I had a local server running. But that's it. I now have the ability to scan a server, get the mail, do something useful with it. And it's all in pretty basic Smalltalk code. So here's kind of a concrete example of using the POP3 client for a purpose. Could have used IMAP as well. This just happens to be something I'm a little more familiar with. So that's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.